Batman, one of the most famous, one of the most iconic, and probably, if not arguably, one of the greatest superheroes and fictional characters ever created. Man, it seemed like a lifetime ago when I first started becoming a fan of this character. I can remember watching reruns of the 1966 TV series in which Adam West portrayed the character, the classic Batman and Robin cartoons from the 60s, the classic Super Friends cartoons from the 70s and 80s, the Tim Burton films with Michael Keaton, the Christopher Nolan films with Christian Bale, and of course the DC Animated Universe franchise in which the late and great Kevin Conroy voiced the character. Now, some of you guys may be wondering, if you love Batman so much, then what the hell's with the title of the video? Well, I'm here to set the record straight. I do not think Batman's a bad character. If you guys know, I'm a huge Batman fan. He's one of my top 3 favorite superheroes of all time, especially one of my favorite comic book characters of all time. I'm a biggest of a Batman fan if you can possibly imagine, but I wouldn't be true to myself if I didn't say this. Do I think Batman has been overrated by many of his fans and by many of his writers? The answer is quite simple. And to me, it's simple to the point. Yes, yes, yes. Now, just because I say someone's overrated doesn't mean they're bad characters. It just means that they're overrated. You can say someone is great, but they're overrated. I have been a big Batman fan for a very long time. And that will never change as long as I still live and breathe on this earth. However, I do think a lot of his writers and a lot of these too young or too dumb Batman fanboys and fangirls that live and breathe this character have done more harm than good for this character's image. I think the Batman character has been talked about in such a manner where he's perceived as something that he is not. And what I mean by that is, true believers, is that people think Batman, because of his ability to beat people with quote unquote prep time, he can pretty much kick every other fictional character's ass no problem. Or that he's simply invincible when it comes to prep time. To that I say is, enough is enough. Batman is human. He's a normal human being that uses his family's wealth and resources to help himself in his crusade against crime. This is a story of a tragic character that lost his family to crime, decided to take some degree of vengeance on crime, that decided to instill fear through vengeance into the heart of criminals, not just in Gotham City, but throughout the world, hell, throughout the freaking universe. Okay? I'm not denying that Batman's a great detective. I'm not denying Batman's a great strategist. I'm not denying Batman's a brilliant detective. Great fighter, great strategist, great tactician, brilliant inventor. I'm not denying those things. But to sit there and say that he can beat every other fictional character's ass is flat out bullshit to me. If Batman could truly beat every other fictional character with prep time, and if he was truly invincible with prep time, guess what? It'll be pointless to fight him, and it'll be pointless to his conflict. It'll be pointless for his stories. There'll be no purpose to his stories, excuse me. Batman, yes, is a great strategist and tactician, but it's not just because he comes up with prep time. It's how he prepares. It's how he executes his strategy. It's how he executes his tactics. Just because Batman comes in with a friggin' kryptonite ring to fight some Kryptonian that isn't Superman doesn't mean he's going to win the fight easily. If you want me to talk about the whole Batman v Superman thing, I'm going to save that for a different video. For another time. But what I will say is that Batman isn't a perfect strategist and tactician. He is, after all, a human being, and human beings have flaws. Not every plan goes according to plan. Not every plan works. Batman has gotten his ass kicked by so many characters, from Deathstroke to Bronze Tiger to Superman to Wonder Woman to Ra's al Ghul. I mean, he's gotten his ass kicked by a lot of characters. Now, I'm not saying Batman's a fraud. I'm not saying Batman can't do this. I'm not saying he can't do that. What I'm saying is that this whole nonsense of Batman being able to beat every other fictional character simply because he's Batman, simply because he has prep time, simply because he's invincible when it comes to prep time, it's just flat out bullshit to me. You know, I do not think this character is as high and mighty as what a lot of people think he is. That's what I mean by the title of this video, has Batman been overrated? And I say, well, yes. I'm not saying he's always been overrated. I know there's a lot of people out there who say Batman sucks because he doesn't have superpowers, which to me is just as idiotic as bitching and complaining about Superman being a majorly powerful character. And I've said that before too, and probably my debunking the Superman is too powerful argument video a while back then too. But yes, as you can say before, I'm a big Batman fan, and I definitely do think that Batman is a great character. But I think a lot of these writers and a lot of these fans need to reevaluate themselves and their analysis and observation of the character. That's all I got to say about that. For now, anyway. Okay. Chris, Batman doesn't have any superhuman abilities. Just because Batman doesn't have superpowers doesn't mean he's a bad character. I fear Joker owns him. Not really. Yes, he does. Batman does have, but the Justice League now know. The Justice League now knows. Is power. That's not an actual superpower. Just want to check in the chat. He is for sure overrated. Charles. Goku with dog Batman. Okay. Let's continue. Want to see those in the chat. Hopefully you're being civil with one another. Now, I do think this character if I'm not an expert writer, there were times in my youth I struggled writing good essays, writing good reports and stuff like that, but over time my writing got better. If I was to write Batman, I would say, look, Batman is human. He has flaws to his character, which I don't really need to discuss, but I'll probably do it some other time in this video, in this live stream. But here's the thing. Batman, what makes Batman a great strategist is how he executes his plans, his strategy, his tactics. It's like studying for an exam, right? You go to school or college, whatever the hell you guys are in, and the professor or teacher gives you about 2 or 3 weeks to study for a test. Now, you can study for that time, but if you go take the test and if you come out passing or failing, that's not because you study, it's how you study. You know, I understand people call Batman a fraud. He's not a fraud. Um, Now, what I'm going to say about Batman's character, people looked at Batman as flawless. Batman's not fucking flawless. He's not mentally stable a lot of the times. I mean, let's think about it. As much as we love most of his family characters, the fact that he was willing to take a 10-year-old kid out on a crime patrol where they beat the shit out of criminals is not exactly a good idea if you think about it with your head. It's like he trains kids. I'm training kid how to be a good person, training a kid how to be a good student, training a kid to defend yourself, but taking him out to fight criminals that will fucking kill you. That's not a good role model. That's not really smart if you think about it. Plus, the fact that I know this is non-canon, and so forth, but I'll never forget watching this episode of Justice League Unlimited where Wonder Woman was right there, and Batman was in perfect position to ask her out, and he declines her, saying that dating within the team leads to disaster, which is not always true, and that he's got a rich kid with issues. Like basically, he's bullshitting his way out of going out with one of the most beautiful women in all of comics and fiction, a woman that will probably make him a happy dude. I'm not just talking about in the bedroom. I'm talking about maybe in life, in some ways in his personal life. I understand he loves Catwoman. I like Catwoman too. I understand that Catwoman since Rebirth has reformed herself to be more of a good guy, which is fantastic. But let's be for real. I think a lot of us would have loved seeing Batman and Wonder Woman hook up in the Justice League series. But the fact in the scene in the DCM universe that he was willing to hook up and knock up a woman that's old enough to be his daughter, i.e., in Barbara Gordon, is not only fucking stupid, but fucked up as well. Okay? Um, I'm not saying Batman's a bad character. I'm just saying the dude is not psychologically always there. He plus a lot of times, if you read the comics, he's not a happy person. A lot of times he's miserable. I look at Batman as a tortured soul, as a sad person. I mean, let's think about it. He's handsome, keeps himself in great physical shape. He owns $1 billion company. He's one of the most. He's one of the good people. One of the good people in Gotham. He's got a good cast, supporting cast around him, and he was willing to date some of the most beautiful women in all of DC Comics. But for some, he's got, Dick Grayson's is one of the few, along with Tim Drake, to come out to still have a, even though they've had some hardships in their lives, they still manage to come out in tip-top shape for the most part. And, Jason Todd, you can argue all Batman's family characters is his greatest failure. Damian Wayne a lot of times act like a spoiled little shit. But Batman, Batman, he's a flawed character. Not saying that it's a bad thing, but for these fans say he's perfect, he's flawless, and the fact that the whole shtick, he has his bitches on lockdown. Not exactly. but it is what it is. All right, I'll stop my monologue. John. Well, I know, but he's more flawed than others. That's what I meant to say. My apologies, Weed. I didn't. Harry Potter's my favorite hero. That's cool. That's fun. When I was 10, he does wear under. What the fuck? Oh, okay. Let's go, Charles. It sure is. Um, I like Harry Potter too. He's one of my favorite fictional characters. Anyway, um, yes, all characters are flawed, but there are some characters that are more flawed than others. And Batman is one. Now, I'm not saying he's an anti hero. I never really considered Batman an anti hero, but I know his Dark Knight Returns counterpart is. But I don't really consider Batman, the Batman himself, the main continuity version of Batman, to be an anti hero. Um, but what I'm saying is that plus there was even times where Batman got jealous of Superman. Not because of the whole superpower crap, which is fucking stupid, but because that Superman, he's even admitted himself that Superman is more human than he is. Let's see. Yes, he's an alien from another planet, but he was willing to find a job, find love, start a family, do that sort of thing. Batman was a guy that was raised with a silver spoon in his fucking mouth. I mean, what did he have to do to earn his family's company? Nothing. He inherited it because, well, he's their son. No disrespect to Batman, but it's the fucking truth. Um, as I said, I love this character. If there was a Mount Rushmore for superheroes, Batman's got to be up there, along with Superman, Wonder Woman, and Spider-Man. Those, to me, is Mount Rushmore of superheroes for me. If there was a fictional character Hall of Fame, Batman's the first ballot Hall of Famer in my eyes. But what pisses me off is a lot of these fans and writers try to make him into something that he's not. And as a Batman fan, as what I consider a true Batman fan, it's like, what the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing to this character? Like, I get it. Batman's awesome. But he's not a god. And I think these fans forget that. This dude is human. I mean, let's go back to the first episode of Batman Beyond, one of the greatest installments of the DC Universe franchise, where Batman almost got himself killed. Remember, he had the Batman Beyond suit, he was beating the shit out of criminals. Next thing you know, he had a stroke and a criminal was beating the shit out of him. And then Batman went over to recover and then beat the guy back. And Batman's like, you know what? I'm not what I used to be. My health is a concern. I gotta quit. Like, that's something about Batman yes, it's not me bad mouthing Batman, but it's the truth. You know, Batman, people say, well, Batman doesn't have weaknesses. Really? You say other than this, he's human, that's a weakness. Plus, he's not mentally stable a lot of the times. Some people, it's been showcased in other stories that Batman is in a lot of ways just as batshit crazy as the Joker. But what separates Batman from the Joker is that Batman tries his best to not cross that line. People say, him and the Joker are the same, are the two different sides of the same coin. I think that was from like The Killing Joke, which I know the animated movie wasn't that great, But the comic is fantastic. I love the comic. The comic is fucking phenomenal. The graphic novel, I should say. Excuse me. Um, but yeah, I mean that's something that has to be said. So, so yeah, I'll go see what's in the chat now. Come on, you stupid fuck. Super isn't always mentally stable. I mean, that's true. I mean, obviously in Justice, he's not mentally stable. Batman does not sleep upside down. There's a rock and magic and red sun radiation. Superman isn't always mentally stable. Because he's not a superhero. He's a hero, but not a superhero. He doesn't wear a costume. Doesn't wear a colorful costume. Um, huh, okay. Isn't always mentally stable. Yeah, when he's being mind controlled, when he's fights Darkseid off, when he encounters Darkseid, obviously. But most of the time, he's mentally stable. Little Wayne. Grandpa Monster slept upside down. You're not Batman. Batman has more plot armor than Goku. That's another is. That's something. Just ice. Okay, let's see. Yeah, and that's another thing. I'm glad Knob Deep pointed this out. I know a lot of people may disagree. I know there are going to be those who are going to disagree with me on this, but I got to admit, Batman, the writers have given Batman so much plot armor. I mean, a lot of the popular heroes are going to get plot armor, but I think of all the superheroes, especially in the DC universe, Batman has more plot armor. Ever since he exceeded Superman in popularity, once Tim Burton got the reins to make his movies of him with Michael Keaton. So there's that. Um, there's that. Martian Man, Plastic Man. We're not doing Superman. I like Frank Miller's version of old Batman, The Dark Knight Rises, in The Dark Knight Returns, completely out of his mind. I'm not doing Superman versus Goku. I'm not doing that. I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that. But there are those who seemingly get more than others. Um. Okay. Okay, guys. Be cool. I know we all are fans of other characters, but calm down. I said, please be civil. I'm not doing Goku versus Superman. That has been done. He literally lets them all go. It's not like he literally goes to Arkham Asylum and breaks them out. That's not true. I mean, first and foremost, Gotham was always infected with crime, even before when Batman. No, I mean, Weir's being civil. I don't see any rude comments. What I mean is that okay. My apologies, Rick Kent. I must have read it wrong. My apologies. Um, I do kind of agree. He, I know. I'm sorry. He killed them. If Batman had any modicum of chivalry, he'd kill them. Well, I'd say if the death penalty was enforced in Gotham City. Remember that robot chicken skit with the Joker where he got the death penalty? If Gotham City actually did a better job evaluating those criminals, I think a lot of them would get the death penalty, including the Joker. I think more so than Batman just straight up snapping their necks or blowing them the fuck up. But yeah, um, trying to think here. Yes, I'm glad someone mentioned this. Thank you, Rick Kent. When Batman first debuted, he carried a gun and did kill people. That's what not Richard Todd. I'm thinking of Rich Todd. That's what Jason Todd said. It's like, does part of me want Batman to kill the Joker? Versus Punisher? No, I have not. Um, Hold on 1 second. Okay. If you ever have you not deep answer ask Batman got woke. Okay, whatever. Um, I remember one of my absolute favorite Batman animated movies is Batman Under the Red Hood. And Jason Todd said, I forgive you for not saving me. But why isn't this piece of shit still alive? Look at all the grades he's filling, and Batman gives those speech of why he doesn't kill and all that crap. Which at the same time is somewhat understandable, but at the same time it's like, dude, this guy is an agent of chaos and insanity. This guy needs to be taken like if the Joker existed in real life, he'd be taken the fuck out. Yes, I completely understand. Batman got woke. Oh, whatever. Um, dude, you gotta, dude. That's a great read. Fuck, come on, man. Show the. You should find Batman threatening to put Frank only for so he can clean up Gotham for good. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard about that actually, and I may check that out in the future. Um, However, was it? No, it wasn't yesterday. On Saturday, August 31st, I did purchase on Amazon the JLA Avengers crossover series, which I plan on reading and reviewing by my birthday, by the week of my birthday. So stay tuned for that as well. Now, And people say that Batman. Another thing that people say that Batman never kills, and people even say that Superman never kills too. Superman used to kill often in the Golden Age of comics, along with Batman. You know, I understand a lot of people got very upset when Superman kills Adamantium, which is somewhat understandable. But at the same time, sit there and say that to pretend that he didn't kill Terrence Stamps out of Superman 2, unless if you somehow live under a rock and haven't seen the movie, he killed Zod too, but with a smile on his face. Remember, I understand a lot of people weren't crazy about Man of Steel, and I can understand that in a lot of ways. But remember, Henry Cavill didn't want to kill Zod. He was kind of put in a position where he felt forced to kill Zod. And after he killed Zod, he cried. He screamed in anguish, in sadness. And a lot of people got pissed off about that. As much as I love Superman 2, the fact that Christopher Reeve Superman killed Zod with a smile on his face, I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty fucked up. Don't get me wrong, it was a great scene how he overall and how he used his genius level intellect to outsmart Zod and his goons by depowering them with red sun energy. That was fucking brilliant. Because he knew Lex Luthor was going to turn on him anyway. Who was phenomenally portrayed by Gene Hackman anyway, especially in the first two films. I still would like to know what the fuck possessed the people who worked on Superman 4 The Quest for Peace to give Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor shitty material to work with. That's what I would love to fucking know. Um. Hmm. 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 Mm-hmm. I wonder what they're saying on Discord. Um. Have you read Batman versus Swamp Thing? No, I have not. I do like. I have. Uh, Dano, I appreciate the jokes, but um, appreciate your support. Appreciate the jokes, but um, have you read Batman versus Swamp Thing? There's a series called Batman versus Swamp Thing. Let me go let's check this shit out. Swamp Thing's a great fucking character. Ooh, not the fucking. It's a one shot. It's a one shot. Hmm. Swamp Thing's a fucking beast, dude. Damn, he knocked him the fuck out with one punch. Um. Oh god. I'm gonna say one shot. One shot comic. Oh god. One shot comic. What about Superman versus Yamcha? Okay. Yeah, he is. Favorite Batman animated movie? Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. That's my favorite. I read the original Swamp Thing. Yeah, I gotta read those comics. Len Wein, true story about Len Wein. Um, I have yet to read the comics. Why I like Swamp Thing. I think he's a badass. I think he's a great character. He's very interesting, compelling, and he's extremely powerful. And the fact that you know he's fought Superman, has beat Superman. He's fought Aquaman. Has he fought Solomon Grundy? I don't know, but Swamp Thing is not to be underestimated. He is a beast of a character. I love when Batman Constantine team up. Constantine's one of my all-time favorites. I still have yet to see the Constantine movie with Keanu Reeves. I already became like a cult following. It became a cult classic over time. But I want to check it out. I think it's still on Max. I know they're doing a sequel to Keanu. Ooh. No, I hope I did. I hope I didn't. I'm not even. You should read the original. I think you could find a book with the full run. It's Swamp Thing 1986. Okay, Jets mess. I am going to put you on timeout. Um, put user in timeout. Constantine with Reeves would counter. Yeah, I want to see that. He wants to make a number. Warner Brothers. What? I thought it was in development. I thought it was in freaking development. I could sworn it was in development, but Warner Brothers. Man, fuck. God damn it, them stupid sons of bitches. What? So, a sequel. Return of the Joker. Oh my god. Oh my god. That right there, like if for those of you who haven't watched, I'm talking about those who are probably new to my channel. If you haven't watched Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, I highly recommend it. What the Joker did to Tim Drake was so fucked up. It's like when I remember when I first watched it as a kid, I was like, wow. It lets you know that the Joker will go to great lengths to fuck with Batman. Like, I'm not even joking. The original run of Swamp Thing was in the 70s. Yes. Or the original Swamp Thing character. I forgot who the original Swamp Thing was. I know the most famous Swamp Thing is Alec Holland, but I forgot who the original Swamp Thing was. But yeah, I heard the original Swamp Thing was in the 70s, but I heard even that was a good character. In development is meaning us in Hollywood. Yeah, you got that right. Yo, the way like he and he put a little. That's the original Alec Holland. Seriously? Let me go check. I freaking love. I really. Hey Nate, what's happening, man? You welcome to the live stream. Swamp Thing. Swamp Monster. Oh, he's fucking great. Like actually, Rick, the original Swamp Thing was Alec Alexander Olsen. But then let's see. Hold on one second. Alec Holland. Alec Holland. I don't recall that. I don't recall that. Yeah, yeah. The original Swamp Thing was Alexander Olsen, but then in 1972 they reimagined. They created another Swamp Thing called Alec Holland, who's the most famous and most regarded version of the Swamp Thing. But yeah, Swamp Thing is a dope character. I have yet to watch his most recent series, which originally aired on the streaming service DC Universe before it moved to Max. I heard his 2019 TV series was phenomenal. It was like horror action, but really badass at the same time. I'll never forget. That's the one I'm talking about, 1972. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The first Swamp Thing made his first appearance in 1971. Hey Jake, what's happening, man? But that TV show was pretty good. Yeah, the 2019 show. I have yet to watch. There's a lot of shit I gotta catch up on. But I think it ran for like 2 seasons. I think. Let me go check. Swamp, son of a bitch. Swamp Thing television series. Holy shit. Um, is it on Max? It better be on fucking Max. I'll be really pissed if it's not. No, not the character, you stupid idiot. Um, watch show. It's on Tubi. I was expecting it to be on Max. It's on Tubi. But it got great ratings. So that's important. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was made on the DC streaming service. I caught it when CW ran it. Yeah. Um, yes. You just do I have Swampy in one of my fantasy fights? No, I fucking don't. Are you shitting me? Son of a fucking bitch. Okay, when I make season 5 of my fantasy fights, the first character I'm gonna put in there is Swamp Thing. He's a badass. Ooh. 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 My brain is full of surprises, bitches. Nope. Yes. Who will he fight? I just thought of it, Rick Ken. I just thought of it. Um. Ah. Okay, Rick Kent. For the first fantasy fight of season 5, I'm gonna put him up against Thanos. That fight would be interesting. Swamp Thing, a plant elemental, versus Swamp Thing versus Thanos. I would pay big bucks for that shit. Um, Charles, which superhero do you think you're closest to, like it or not? I'd say I'm kind of closer to Wolverine. I mean, I am short. I'm kind of some of this. I'm like kind of somewhat between Spider-Man and Wolverine. Maybe not so much skill wise, but somewhat. With do have a hot temper, and I have been, very and I, sometimes have money issues. But yeah, just to name a few. Versus, oh man, versus Now. Um, what are you doing? I stepped away earlier and I asked if you. I have drawn Dano, but I don't draw very well. What are you doing? I'm just basically talking about why I feel Batman has been overrated by a lot of his fans and writers. I'm not saying he's a bad character. I still say he's one of the greatest of all time. So yeah, I'm doing good though. Hey Boomtown, what's up, buddy? But I fucking love one of my favorite. Um, I have read Swamp Thing comics. It was when I went to a book fair in my middle school. In middle school, and I was like, wow, these Swamp Things are really badass. Holy shit. And they were, I'm gonna tell you right now, during the Bronze Age comic, that's when comics started to go away from the comics code. Where stories had to be dumbed down and stuff, where they couldn't showcase death and all that crap. When the Bronze Age came, that's when they said, you know what, fuck the comics code. We're gonna regain our creative liberties and freedoms, and comics has been like that ever since. But I love Swamp Thing. He's on in my top 10 if you guys want to look back and watch my top 10 DC characters slash heroes list. That video I made way back then. But um hmm, I do like Swamp Thing. The first time I ever saw Swamp Thing, I Rick Kent, from your mouth to God's ears. He is a very underrated character. He is. That's not even a debate. He's one of those characters that does not get the publicity he deserves. Like, he's one of those characters that's so interesting and compelling and complex that you kind of root for him to succeed. Hey, Marcella, what's up, buddy? Um, Swamp Thing is just a great character, and I gotta get into his stuff. I there are plenty of comics like I want to one of these days when I get enough money, when I get a job, I want to read the original Invincible comics that were written by Robert Kirkman. I want to read some of the original Spawn comics that were created by Todd McFarlane back in the 90s. Thank you, Nate. I appreciate the compliment. Thank you. Yes. Of all in the DC universe, only Batman I could think of fit in the previous time period early. Yeah, I mean they did Batman Gotham by Gaslight, which I really enjoyed. I did enjoy the animated movie. That was pretty damn good. I love. I know people regard. I love Kevin Conroy's voice, but Bruce Greenwood does a pretty good job voicing Batman too. I like Bruce Greenwood. I think he's a good actor. But I absolutely love. Um, oh, I don't. I, I know what. Since Rick Kent had the in common sense to say that Swamp Thing's an underrated character, my next video, which may come either later tonight or tomorrow, where I talk about great characters from DC and Marvel that are very underrated, that don't get the respect, appreciation, attention that they deserve. Like I'm totally dead. Like I'm totally freaking serious. Like these are characters that to me are fantastic, are some of the best and some of the most well written. I'm glad I have common sense, Charles. Thank you. I shouldn't have said common sense, Rick. I said the courage to say that because a lot of times people like to throw around the words overrated a lot. I know that's what the title of today's video was, but I don't do it overrated like a bad thing. Where can I purchase a cape? Preferably red with a hint of black. Preferably red with a hint of black. Um, where can I purchase a cape? That's a good question. And the Argonaut. No, I have not seen that, Boomtown. I'm sorry. Maybe you could try Party City or Halloween Party, whatever the hell it is, Party City or Halloween Time. Maybe you could find them. Or maybe you could find a cape on Amazon. May cost you a pretty penny, but you can find one of those three things. Jason and the Argonauts. Let me look that up. I'm thinking of James and the Giant Peach. Oops. And the Argonauts, a 1963 film. Hmm. Golden Fleece. No, I haven't seen it, so I can't really voice my opinion on it. Which Jets player do you think could take the mantle of Batman for a day? Probably Garrett Wilson or maybe DJ Reed. I'm not entirely sure. Interesting question. I don't know. Toss it on your watch list, Charles. You like it? It's got pretty good ratings, so it's most likely going to be good. Rick, wow. You know what? Oh, I get it because I remember he's CJ Mosley. I could see him as Batman. Characters that are, but the do you think Jake could make a good Robin to your Batman? Jake Asman doesn't need to be a Robin. He doesn't need I like Jake Asman. He's a good dude, but I don't. I'm not saying he would make a good Robin or maybe even a good Nightwing. But Jake Asman, I don't see him as a sidekick. I see him as like the main hero. No, Jet Smash, you're not in timeout. Okay, Jet Smash, I know you like to joke around, but enough with the bulge jokes. Would you consider as your most relatable superhero? I'd say so. In a lot of ways, he's very relatable to me. Uh, I mean, he was bullied a lot growing up. I was bullied a lot growing up. That's something I can relate to him the most. But yes, I would say that. I think he'd be a terrific Robin. Yeah, I'm not saying he wouldn't be, but I agree, Charles. Rick can't play along, man. Um, that's a Rick just gave me a good damn idea. I just written. That's great because there's so many great characters in both not in Marvel and DC that don't get a lot of attention. Like, yes, you have your Supermans, your Batmans, your Wonder Womans, your Spider-Mans, your Hulks, your Iron Mans, and stuff like that. No, your A-listers. But then you got like characters that aren't entirely well known. Like one character I think I have to talk about, Ghost Rider. I mean, which Ghost Rider? Johnny Blaze. Um, the new one, Robbie Reyes. Who's the other Ghost Rider? You have Robbie Reyes, who I like. Johnny Blaze is my personal favorite. Benjamin Percy. Fuck no. Oh, was so close to being amazing. Was the best. Oh, you mean when he was the Cosmic Ghost Rider? I'm trying to think. No, not the fucking. Stupid son of a bitch. Damn it. Not the movie. I only knew Johnny Blaze. The others are all after my time with comics. Let's see. Johnny. No, no, fuck. It's kind of. He's got. I know Johnny Blaze has a brother. Um. There we go. We'll go on Wikipedia, which has been better off in recent years. Danny Catch. There we go. Danny Catch. Thank you, Knob Deep. Thank you. Danny Catch. I think he's Johnny Blaze's brother. But yeah, I think a lot of those go. I think Ghost Rider. I mean, the first Ghost Rider movie I thought was a fun movie. Second one, I'm like, what the hell were they thinking? But I do like the character a lot. I think he's bad. I think he's one of the most badass looking characters I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, I can understand what you're saying. I definitely think he definitely needs more exposure. But if there's one character in particular that I feel that needs, I mean, I hope his Disney Plus series does this character very well, and that's Wonder Man, Simon Williams. That character doesn't get nearly as much recognition as she should, and I blame Marvel for that shit. Oh, um, hmm. So Villain of the Dark Arts, yes, I know. He's trying to make you smile uncomfortably. um, um, The Spirit. That movie was weird. That movie to me was kind of weird. Um, trying to think. Um, but as I said, one character that I have to talk about on my channel. Have you seen the Man Thing movie? They did a Man Thing movie? Let me go look that shit up. Who was tougher, Swamp Thing or Man Thing? Um, that's a good fucking question. I never knew there was a Swamp Thing movie, guys, but from my research, it's got terrible ratings, but you never know. Um, Um, yeah, I'm definitely gonna try to see that, Rick. I'm definitely gonna try to see that. Ricky in New York told me about it. He said it's not really scary. It's just, which is a good thing. So, um, it was pretty good. Um, yeah, that's what I heard. I heard the Werewolf by Night special that Disney Plus did was very very good. And but as for the who's tougher, Swamp Thing or Man Thing, I say they're comparable to each other. From my knowledge on Man Thing is very limited, but I do know he's very powerful. I do know he's very freaking powerful. So there's that. But Knob deep, who would win? I'd say Doctor Fate. Doctor Strange is great, but Doctor Fate is more powerful. I mean, a guy can telekinetically move planets. Plus, when he has the Hammer of Fate, his physical abilities, his physical attributes, including his physical strength, have been shown to be comparable to both Superman and Martian Manhunter. So I gotta go with Doctor Fate, but it would be a cool ass fight, though, in my opinion. Um, hmm, it's 4:38. I'm sure Jake is doing the show by now. Wow. You know what, guys? I'm going to end the stream right here. It was great talking with you. I hope I didn't upset anybody. If you could see one franchise made into a film that hasn't been made yet, what comic would it be? Simple, Invincible. I would love to see the Invincible franchise be made into a film because I love the animated series. So yeah. Anyways, that is it for the live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Hope you guys understood where I was coming from. Peace out.